Good afternoon, everyone. BC Richfield here, coming to you live from London. It's just gone a couple of minutes past midday, making it a few minutes past 1100 UTC. A huge shout out to everybody watching this live today, and a very special mention to anybody that we managed to meet on our travels over in Dubai and at Token 2049 in Singapore. We'll be giving you all a rundown of that in a moment, with some big shout outs coming to some unbelievable legends that we met over there. So first of all, jet lag is real. Didn't want to miss the opportunity to be back here with you guys. Also, still pumped full of adrenaline. Cortisol's running hot after what was just the most incredible 10 days with my Burb Nest fam over there. And obviously a huge shout out to the one and only Crypto Burb. It's like, for any of you that have had the pleasure of meeting this guy, and it's unbelievable for me to think that I get to work alongside him every day. The respect that this man has in the industry, which in my opinion is completely 100% justified, is unbelievable. But anyway, before I go off track, please do forgive the croakiness in the voice. Obviously, just flew in from Singapore yesterday. If there's any issues with the audio or the visual, please do let me know. So let's just say a few good mornings to some legends in the chat. Our wonderful Erica, who, keeping us all together in our absence. Trader Mum Joe, absolutely missed you guys as well. Hans, my man, how the devil are you doing? Craigie boy, brilliant to see you here too. Just Pit, man, this guy, you know what? I keep saying on these live streams to follow him. I'm almost tempted not to say it this week so that you guys can just maybe pop onto the Discord, pop onto Twitter, just see what this guy has been doing. He has been outperforming pretty much every trader in this space. My absolute Polish brother and family to us all over at the Burb Nest. So make sure you do go and check him out. Erica, Pitt, someone please put his Twitter details in the description so people can go and take a look. Or don't follow him. I'm pissed off, forgive my French, that I wasn't around for this. I've missed ridiculous amounts of money being away. This is the sacrifice that you make, obviously, when you do this networking. But the sacrifice pays off in so many other ways, okay? None more so than networking. And one of the things I want to say to you guys, which we'll build out on later, is make sure you take these opportunities when they come and they get you, right? Because these things really, really can change your world and change your outlook on stuff, the people that you meet, and also change your perception, right? Anyway, go and follow Pitt. For the love of God, if you enjoy money, just go and follow Pitt, all right? Good morning, Dora, my lovely Dora. How are you doing? We've got loads of people in here today. It's streaming in as we speak. Aussie Gromy, hello, mate, hello. So anyway, look, forgive the gruffness in the voice. There's going to be a little bit of that throughout the show, but really do want to just rip into this now and take a look at where we are. I did not watch the Grand Prix over there. No, I think Burb and a few others were maybe out there for it. But in truth, it's something that I'm hoping we get to go back and do next year. But one of the things we did get to meet Charles Leclerc over there at the Binance dinner that they kindly put on. Again, I'm going to do a big shout out for these legends shortly, but yeah, it was unbelievable. It really, really was. But yeah, next time, I think. But the most important thing for me was just the most incredible 10 days of meeting just some of the biggest players in the industry, the biggest names in the industry, some of the smartest, the brightest. It was just a beautiful, beautiful experience and a wonderful event. In my opinion, this is the marker for what all crypto events want to be about. I've been to huge financial conferences, for Forex, traditional finance conferences. These people really do set the bar incredibly high. And for me, this blew all of those out of the water, and it also set that marker for what all of the other conferences should really be aiming for. So without further ado, let's take a little look. Now, obviously, I've got the range up here as well, but I just want to, let me get rid of these bits and pieces quickly, just so that we can have a clean chart here. Let's find the range, and let's just turn that off for a second as well, right? And let's just zoom out and give ourselves some high time frame context right now. Obviously, it's a strange one, right? You look here on the weekly and people, including myself, absolutely, we're holding a bearish market structure at the moment, yet there's a very, very bullish vibe around now. One of the things I think or a couple of things that combine to give people a little bit of confusion on the market when they listen to, analysts. And look, there's a load of different analysts out there, but just, do your research, find the good people, find, people like Burb. So you can criticize whoever you want in this industry. It's so very easy. But if you find the very best people, it can be really life-changing. Now, someone like Burb is a CMT, Chartered Market Technician level 3. Very few people in the world hold that level of accreditation. That's not some online crypto stuff that you just study and someone gives you some little fake certificate. This is real traditional finance qualifications, right? Now, the reason that I'm saying this isn't to just big the guy up. It's because there's so much nuance that goes into making predictions. Myself, something I typically stay away from, but I like to focus on the simplicity and especially on intraday trading. But obviously we do cover a lot of this stuff on the show. And obviously it's something that I work very closely on with my team over at the Bird Nest. So what are we looking at here? Well, quite simply, the first thing that we want to look at here is market structure. Okay, so we came in to set this lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low. This for me is very, very close here to breaking structure or shifting structure to the upside. Now, if I move this away, and you look at this here and people are like, well, it looks a bit messy, blah, blah, blah. It's not. Look, when you see, analysts, and we all do it, right? You talk about market structure being higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, etc. Right? It all looks very clean, right? When you put it on a chart like that, but it very rarely actually looks like that when you overlay the chart. So the key thing for me here is we're looking for these shifts. Now, what I like about this from a bullish perspective is we can see back here that we've had a purge on liquidity, okay? Now, when we purge liquidity here, what we then want to do is we want to then be breaking the boundaries of what we're looking at. We're setting lower lows and lower highs. It means that the momentum, the weight of the market is still focused on the downside. So what that means is, and it's all about context here, okay? Context is so, so very important because it's all about what time frames you're using, what you're using to gain your bias. But you overlay this on any time frame, and as a bull, what you really want to see are these highs starting to be attacked. Now, what we do have above these highs here is some beautiful liquidity. Okay, so if we draw that there, and we're going to put this in green, these are the things. This is what starts to draw the market higher. All right, from this high here all the way across here. Yeah, price loves to attack liquidity and gaps. All right. Anybody that's familiar with the show will know I'm a very, very simple creature in how I look at the market. I'm looking for the market for how it moves in terms of liquidity and structure. Okay. And actually, someone I just want to give a really special mention to, who almost certainly won't be watching this, but is somebody that I got to spend some wonderful time with when we were away, a fellow trader, was Follis. The conversations that I had with that guy about structure, about placement, about the fact that we're both quite risk-averse traders, for example, right? And sometimes we miss these really big moves. But one of the most important things that we were discussing here is just the understanding of the basic core concepts that people miss. So, look, we've got no association with the guy. Hopefully, we can do some beautiful things together with TBN, the Bird Nest, moving forward. But, really do make sure that you go and check these guys out. He really is a wonderful trader. And also, my boy trader, Dank, who flew all the way out to Singapore to meet us out there with Ionic XBT. These are the kind of guys, outside of my TBN fam who of course I hype them up. They're my crew, our crew, Crypto Burb's crew, right? And they're that crew for a reason, because they're some of the very, very best in the game. But it's also important to say there's a lot of other good people out there, and it was a real blessing to meet these guys. And I'll give you a bit of a rundown shortly. So market structure, this is where we are. Yes, this looks a little bit messy, but you know what else it looks like to me? It looks like consolidation before something's about to pop, right? Now, we don't know when you consolidate if price is moving up or price is moving down. However, what we can see here is that we clearly have consolidation in the form of this and this. However you want to draw it, right? These are just rough lines. You would typically draw this as a bull flag. What we like to see here is price, as it's coming into these lows, is attacking liquidity and starting to pump. Now, you could see this as weakness because we're failing to take these highs, but rarely does the kind of market work like this in these consolidation phases, all right? You see smaller versions of them over here, for example. What happens? Price attacking the lows down here, leaving the highs intact. those highs get attacked, you have this strong move out. This area typically, if you're lucky, this area gets retested and then price really rips. So, a consolidation of this size, we could be really, really looking at a big move to the upside if we get it. So, okay, that's all well and good, BC. You've rattled on about market structure, consolidation, etc. What are the actionable plays, right? See plenty of these shows where people bang on about things that have happened in the past that don't give us anything to hold up to hang our hat on. So let's take a look at that. For me, on a weekly scale, this is the key level at the moment, right? This is the last lower high. We're coming off of a higher low, yeah? And the interesting thing here is, say, for example, if we were trading indices. Now, something I'd look for if I was trading indices is I would have the NASDAQ on a split screen here along with, which is the NQ contract, right? Next to the S&P 500. And what I'm looking for here is I'm looking between the two, which is kind of showing strength. Now, let's say, for example, on the S&P 500, price had come in, yeah, like this. And it had swept this low, right? And then what we're looking for here is we're then looking for price to take out this higher, yeah? So this is just an overlay here of what's happened, right? But what you can see here is price failed to take this low. So what we'd be looking for here is some kind of divergence, meaning that we're seeing more strength in this asset than we are in aligned asset classes. What that means is that there could be a momentum shift happening in the market, and basically the market just can't get low enough to take out this liquidity. Now, I was a big fan of the idea of price coming down, taking this out, 49,000 flat. Okay, love round numbers, 49K flat, purge this, get back above and rip. The only problem with that theory is that it just seems a little bit too easy. And the markets so rarely give us really what we want. And actually there's some accounts and fairly sizable accounts out there talking about this at the moment that I massively respect. And I agree. It's kind of, the really sensible thing to do is make sure that you're hitting your markers, right? You're taking your trades from where you want them. Where do I want it? I wanted it down here. Have I got that? No, I haven't. So now what do I do? Well, I'm either taking into the fact that we've got this large bullish engulfing candle here, right? Which I really like. Plus, look at the secondary candle off the back of this. Very, very difficult to fade these moves, right? Until you get something going in the opposite direction, often a doji, yeah? So downtrend starts here, price pumps, we get this doji, we get a bearish pin bar candle, price corrects lower to hunt down liquidity, all right? Exactly right, Hans. It is a classic bull flag, yeah? Classic breakout. Moral, my friend, how are we doing? Seb as well, I see you are in there. Oh, mate, yeah. I mean, do you know what? Really did struggle to catch up with everyone, genuinely as well. People really graft out of these events. People see all the fun, they see the events, they see the dinners, they see, the parties on roof terraces and stuff like that. But I can assure you, the best people out there and pretty much everyone we met was putting every part of themselves into these events. We were starting, 8 o'clock in the morning and we were finishing at 4 a.m., right? Absolutely making the most of every single second. And now, why I wouldn't ever recommend people trade under those conditions, because you really just need that sharpness. You take care of yourself, lots of good food, right? You get that good balance, you get tons of water in you, but you just push it. You're there for a very limited period of time. There's basically endless people to meet that can change your life and that you can change theirs. So it was brilliant, but I'm really sorry we didn't get to meet out there, mate. We will make a more concerted effort, I think. Look, we've got our own free trade congress coming up soon, guys. We're going to have some big news coming out on that. And, we're going to be back out there for Token 2049 next year. We're probably going to do Dubai as well as a lot of other events. And we really will make some time to organize some more kind of TBN, and fan-based kind of meetups, which would be awesome with you all. So back to kind of this for a moment. So what I'm basically trying to say to you is sometimes you've got to kind of make a decision and you've got to say, look, if I'm bullish here, right, and I am bullish here, I'm definitely bullish here, where am I not bullish anymore? I'm bullish because we've left this failure swing here and price is showing strength off of the lows. Yes, I wanted 49K. Everything we do at the Bird Nest is transparent. All of our analysts give their exact predictions, everything that we're looking for. But we're also not so naive to understand that we don't get that. That's why on every single show, I'm always saying to people, you have to have plans to trade it both ways. If your outlook on the market is incorrect, my expectation or my want was for price to come and take out this low. I didn't get it. So what did I do when I saw this bullish engulfing candle close here and we opened the 16th of September week? Then I was really, really bullish into this high. yeah, which is, lo and behold, 65,000 flat. Look back through some of the old videos, some of my old posts about round numbers, right? It's psychology 101. We see it on a plate there, right? You see it so often with these numbers, people leaving stop losses there, people aiming and targeting these levels, right? I think it's a bit of a coincidence, and I would say very, very long odds that, our key low target was 49,000 flat and the key high target was 65,000 flat with our wonderful strategic partners here, Binance, who I'll give you some downloads on very, very soon. So what's my expectation? Well, at the moment, 65K is the target. We've been grinding up towards that. Legends like Just Pit, legends like the Trading Tank have been absolutely killing the Discord. Razoon's been in there crushing some trades as well. It's been wonderful to see. But I'm not going to lie to you. It's a real kind of quandary for me because, I'm a trader first and foremost, right? And I would say I'm a crypto person probably second. I love crypto. I love the people in the industry. I love them even more once we get off the back of events like this, right? And when you see these people, you see these gigantic minds, these titans of the industry that are just doing everything. People like Burb, right? People like Richard Teng from Binance, who stepped into the shoes of the legendary CZ to be able to have time and discuss with him his vision for where Binance is heading, what the market is going to do, is just so inspiring, right? But we always have to have a plan. So 65K is the plan at the moment. What do I want to see at 65K? I want to see what the market does there. Okay, that's a very, very, very important point for me. We want to see strength above this level. And then, quite simply, I'm then taking it one step at a time. We're aiming for 70, 79.99, yeah, or just call it 70, 79 if you want to be a little bit conservative. And then all of these beautifully untapped highs, right? All the way back up to the all-time high. However, if we see a strong reaction to the downside, and what do I mean by that? Well, quite simply, if we see price come down and we get something like an inverse of this, so get rid of this for a moment and ping this over here. Look what happened here. Watch how price reacts at key levels, right? Watch what is price telling you here, right? Price tells you here that is struggling to get down there. It was the legendary CZ who kind of framed this better for me than anyone, which is, look, the bodies tell you what price managed to do. This is what was achieved. This is what was attempted. I align it, to, I really wish I could remember who told me this story. But think of it as a battalion of soldiers trying to march into enemy territory, right? This is what was attempted. This is what was achieved. What does it tell you? Well, it tells you that they tried to invade here, but were pushed all the way back inside their own territory here. That's a sign of weakness, right? However, when you see the opposite of that, for example, here, price marches through and basically dominates the opposition territory, holding position here. From here, you get a small consolidation period within this doji, and then price is ready to ultimately progress. So watching what happened here, absorption, back to this level again. Right now, the liquidity from here is gone, in my opinion, because it's been swept by this. However, this is the level that's capping the market. If this is basically, you imagine institutions, major players, everybody's buying down here, or the buying weight far exceeds the selling pressure. When price dips back down here, it's often on a lower time frame to take out over leveraged players, to take stops, generate more liquidity, and form a secondary, larger impulse move. Okay, so this is what we're looking at this level. Right, so decanting this down now onto a daily scale, right? So on a daily scale, where are we? We're here. What do I love about this even more? Equal highs. So in truth, really what I'm expecting at the moment, full transparency, is we've got equal highs up here. Price is setting this failure swing here. Now, I think we're going to see one of two things happen. There's a very, very interesting kind of gap down here. There's also one directly under price here. So this gap is infinitely interesting to me. I'm going to do it in green so it stands out. You'll typically see them on my charts as gray. Now, if we look at this here, and let me actually just align this properly. We never tapped this gap, right? Now, we don't have to. Price action might be just too strong, right? I really like to see these gaps tapped into. We have another kind of marginal gap underneath here as well. And now I'm kind of saying, right, well, price could run really hot from here. But I'm kind of expecting something like this at the moment. I'm expecting price to have this move down lower here, leaving these equal highs intact. Now, I think this is maybe a little bit less likely before we do something like this. Or what I think is slightly more likely is we see these highs run. People get super, super bullish at this point, right? A lot of retail starts to pour into the market. People start to over leverage their positions, allow themselves to be exposed. That over leverage gets taken out, taking out this swing low there. Oh, let me draw that about 50 times better. So price comes up, takes this high. People aping in with over leverage, leaving a lot of liquidity down. We leave this swing low here intact, right? So then what happens is price then comes back to take out this swing low and also engage with these gaps. What does that then do? Right? Then what happens here is people start to get super bearish. Yeah. People are like, oh, it's happening all over again. We've all been trapped, blah, blah, blah. Well, look, then typically when everybody starts to get bearish, what happens? People are short here, leaving their stops up here, allowing the market to then make that secondary or tertiary move to the highs. That is what I think. If you see this pattern happen a lot, right? On the downside, we see it happen here. Price is going down, price is going down. People get bullish. We've taken out some highs. What happens? Takes the liquidity, only for price to trail out to the lows. Price then rips from the lows here. Retail typically, and look, retail is not an offensive term. People say this to me all the time. What's going on? Like retail traders, blah, blah, blah. I'm a retail trader. Most traders are retail traders. When we're talking about institutional players, you are talking about countries, you are talking about major funds, right? These people have the ability to comfortably move crypto markets. They have the ability to move traditional markets, right? So trapping people here, price sells off. People step in late here. Yeah. So on the way up, take out this high. People are like, right, I'm getting bullish now. We regain market structure. Let's go. Then what happens here, right? We get our inversion gap, right? Price closes below. We then set a bearish gap here, which price retests into, and then price searches out the liquidity below. At that point, what happens? Retail step in bearish here. Price reverses, okay? For me, I'm always asking myself, where's the damage to be caused, right? If you need to generate a ridiculous amount of liquidity, it's basically a game of deception to try and catch enough people offside that you can get your bids, your asks filled at the ideal price and ultimately run to what tend to be pretty clear and obvious targets. So this is what I'm looking at here on Bitcoin at the moment. How do we react here? In my mind, there's no doubt that we're in a point of a little bit of uncertainty here as we look at the candles. Right now, yes, we've come off the side of a weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Look, not uncommon to see these days play out, right? Now, if we just draw this on quickly, we can see here we're also on a daily inside bar, yeah? So mother bar, inside bar. What has happened here? Price has taken the highs. What do we then expect? Well, when we take the higher, we expect price to then move to the next point of liquidity lower, which is the lows. However, we also respect the midline here. So this is what we're currently looking at. We're saying to ourselves, all right, well, what's happening in here at the moment? Are we breaking out of this? While we remain in the range, price is most likely to chop around for a little bit, okay? Now, we've just had a super bullish token 2049. For any of you that aren't familiar with what's happened out there, the opinions and the thoughts of some of the biggest in the industry in terms of companies, players, traders, right? These type of events can often produce a really, really powerful catalyst for the market. And we've seen some trades pop off. We've had some amazing trades ripping over at the bird nest. I think Just Pit alone was up about 1,076%. And that wasn't even in the whole time we're away. There's been even more gone into that. Then we will post the stats out. Anybody that is interested, obviously, please do take a look. In the description below, you'll be able to see loads of stuff down there where you can get involved. You can get free membership. You can come and join us. You can get 14 days trial. Come and make the most of this, guys, right? While we've got that. And look, you know what? If the market isn't ready for this up season just yet, we will teach you and we'll show you at the points at which the team are looking to flip bearish, where we're then looking to align ourselves with some downside, what our targets are, how you can trade these markets into the profits that, you know, our members have been seeing. It's been absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, you can find all that in the description or just reach out to me on Twitter, BC_Richfield. Now, as we're ranging around in here, absolutely happy with this, but I really do think that we're going to see these areas engage with here. I just don't think we necessarily just see this massive and immediate pump from here, but we absolutely could. As our friend Pitt here says as well, right? What about a quick flash dump at Monday to 61,166? Yeah, love it. 61,166, which is around about here, right? You can see where my cursor is. Flashing it down into this area, taking the liquidity from there. And I think we'll look at this a bit closer on the 4 hour. Let's see how this also aligns with our ranges. Okay, so I'm going to pop the range back on now. Okay, let's just get rid of this just for a second so we've got this nice and clear. And what we can see for me here is we're at a really key kind of midline point, yeah? So if this is the high of the range, yeah, this was previous all-time high from November 21, and this is the range low down here, we can see the key interaction points here, yeah? Resistance, resistance, retest, pump, right? And then the same with this high. Deviation, price gets back below, sells off. This midline here has had good engagement. Support, resistance, resistance, support, pump, support, pump, support. Price gets underneath, sells off aggressively. We then see the deviation here as well before price sells under. Now, the question is this what we're seeing again here? We're back at this midline now, right? And being back at the midline here, we're looking at price coming up, taking liquidity, deviation. Now, if it gets back above here, I'm saying to myself, well, why should it get back above here if it's weak? Shouldn't have the strength to get back above, right? So if we look at Pitt's level here at 61,166, and let me show you something without even checking that I know this legend's dialed in on. Here we go, 61. Let's give Pitt a nice tealy blue level here, right? Look at this. As soon as you draw it back, you can guarantee you're seeing engagement with this level. Support, support, support. Price closes underneath, retest, sells off. Here, resistance, gets underneath, support, underneath, over, under, retest, pumps. So this is a key level here, right? So what does this align with? And this is all about building confluence, right? What does this level align with? This level aligns with our gaps that we're looking for price to purge into. It also aligns with this order block, or these order blocks here. If you get that deeper purge, a long tail wick down, again, inducing the market, flipping the market in the wrong direction. So that liquidity can be ripped out, feel the bids of some major players here, and hopefully ourselves as well. We'll get ourselves positioned down here, and then we rip to the highs. However, we start closing below here, we start showing weakness below this, maybe price wants to come down a little bit deeper. And then we start to look to the range lows here around 58,727, purging out, taking out these untapped lows here, finding support within this order block. Why this order block? Well, for me, it's a key order block because it's at a point of support and resistance. You'll see order blocks as blue on my charts. It's not been retested. And why would I consider that key? Well, quite simply, these were the down close candles that led to the latest rip. Yeah. So you see how we have a plan to position ourselves with what the market data is telling us. Yes, I want to be overall bullish on crypto. And probably people get a bit of a misconception about me with this, right? Because, you know, I trade traditional markets. I'm a price action trader. People think, yeah, you know, you're not really crazy into your tokenomics and fundamentals and stuff. I'm not, but I have a team who are exceptionally good. And I have people around me and friends that are exceptionally good at this that I use to plug my knowledge, my gaps of knowledge in the market. But to say that I'm not incredibly bullish on crypto in the long term would be a huge, huge error. I'm massively bullish on this space, the people in this space as well. Yes, there's some utter twats in this space. There are in any space, but majority are exceptionally bright and really, really super engaging people. As Craigie Boy says here as well, you can get confluence also. If we're looking at this as the expansion leg here, right? Now, Fibonacci draws can be a little bit subjective, but for me, if we break structure here, then when we break it to the other side, I'm looking at this as the current expansion leg. We need to break down below this low here or this low here before we would then set ourselves into a down leg or kind of into a sell model. So if we take our Fibonacci here, let me just turn the range off for a second, right? So that this is a little bit clearer for you guys. Yeah, what is this? This level here is right on the 50%. Why do we like to be buyers below the 50%? Because it seems counterintuitive, right? We like to be buyers below the 50% because, again, swings the market in the wrong direction, but also gives us the best chance to buy from a risk to reward perspective. What else was I just jabbering on about as well? These order blocks in here, this before this huge pump, or this one down here, this sits around the golden pocket to the 705 level. These are really good areas for price to attack, for algorithms to attack, for bots, etc. Okay, so this all kind of lines up for me as a real kind of inflection point in the market. All right, so at the moment, I'm expecting price to dip down a little bit lower. We could find support in this order block here. Is this a key order block for me here, the collection of these down close candles? Not really, because, fine, it's an order block that's set, that's taking liquidity. Is it a key support resistance level? Probably not, unless we kind of look at this here, this high that was set, which was capping the market, which ultimately, as we look at this, I'll just do it a little bit thicker so you guys can see. This high was set, we closed above it, retested it perfectly. Support, 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 support. We haven't been able to close below this. So these kind of levels can give us really good insight into the market, right? So let's keep an eye on that as well. That's at 62,589. Now, I don't like having tons and tons of, bits and pieces on the chart. I'm very aware of where the areas are that I'm looking for, and that's where I'm looking for price to react. So at the moment, I think I'm somebody that likes to see how Monday plays out, see how Monday's range plays out, especially, and then to see where we go from there. For the keen-eyed among you, you would also notice that we are within a 4-hour inside bar pattern, okay, which we can see here, mother bar, inside bar. For any of you that don't know about the inside bar pattern or how it's traded, you can find a description of that on my Twitter. It's pinned at the top. So at the moment, we're just down below the range low here. Okay, we are attacking the low of the inside bar range as well, because what we're dealing with here when we set the inside bar pattern is we're dealing with two ranges. Okay, so we're at the low of the inside bar range here. So as long as we continue to hold this, there's a chance that price could see the reaction here. Maybe we don't come and take out this low. Just want to try and get that down to there. Yeah, maybe we don't come down and take out this low. Maybe price doesn't need it here. So maybe we see this reaction. If we get this reaction here and we climb back above here, what do we want to see? Well, we want to see the lower time frames, give us some form of kind of market structure shift here, right? Sweep, a retest of this. You want to see impulse. You want to see the market telling you it's ready to move here. Price come down, take out a low here. You violate the high that took the low. And you can even use this as a really good kind of area to then be a buyer as price comes in. What happens if you're wrong about that? Well, quite simply, if you purge, you break down from here and you start violating these levels, chances are price is seeking liquidity lower. So you can easily look to flip bias and look for some short entries. But overall, long term, I'm super, super bullish on this, like super bullish. Erica, yeah, exactly. A wonderful Erica. We have videos, we have education series and bits and pieces like this, guys. So look, whether you want to be a paid member or not, and I'm really sick of kind of explaining to people see these paid membership groups as something that's not on. Look, people that are shilling you shit on Twitter and stuff like that, fine, go and have a go at them. But ask me this, if you wanted to be a doctor, if you wanted to be a solicitor, if you wanted to be a financial analyst, you want to be any of these things, you would pay heavily for your education. We're not even asking for a lot of money. It's the resources, the teams that go into building this. It's the fact of attracting some of the most up-and-coming traders in the industry to try and develop them into one of the best teams out here. It's having transparent P&Ls. It's providing technology, indicators, systems, meetings, Discord services, videos, education content. Look, you guys do you, we'll do us, right? We're really happy with our community. We produce professional traders every single year who have changed their lives, as do other groups and other communities as well. There's also some great people out there producing good free content as well. So look, do what you want to do. Just do it humbly, be at peace with your decisions. But what I would recommend everybody does is come and take up this 14-day free trial and just come and find out for yourself before you make your own decisions. All right. When the bull run will start, Ahmed? Well, I mean, look, there's an argument. You're looking here. It depends what your time frame is, mate. It depends what your bias is. But as we've just discovered here, I mean, really, that's what happened with bourbon. That the bull run was starting down here. Now, bull run is one of those things where you look at it right, and it can be a little bit subjective because people are always saying, well, it was really obvious when it came down here. Yeah, sure, it's obvious when you're up here. It's about the people that take the pumps lower down. And what I would say is the key thing that I'm always looking for, just using the 4 hour as an example, right? You can use other time frames, is watch for these key support resistance flips, right? Now, whether you're using support and resistance levels, like ranges, or whether you're using, and again, we came into the midline here, found a good reaction, came back up. Look, what I'm looking for here, even more so than levels, and I know the key levels, are these inversions, right? Meaning that a big bearish gap like this should be rejecting price, right? If we look at what happens up here with other bearish gaps, big bearish gap, which I just draw in red, rejects price lower, okay? What else happens in here? Where's another bearish gap? Here we go. Sizable bearish gap here. What does that do? Rejects price and sends it lower. Here's another bearish gap. What does that do? That rejects price and sends it lower right here. So what happens when this bearish gap doesn't reject price and you get this huge close above it? And then especially when you get that move showing that the market just simply is not ready to go lower, then you set a bullish gap off the back of that. Quite simply, and just watching these bullish gaps for them to hold and move higher. Yes, the market will trick you. Okay, this, for example, big bullish gap here. What happened? We close just below it. Price then violates that back to the upside, but we're ready for it because you're just trading down to the next clear point of liquidity because we're taking these. The other thing I wanted to touch upon today, and I know this looks like a colorful page of boxes and lines. If you don't understand this, then you really, really are in the very best place to find out. So please do take a look in the description. We're also, all of these live shows that I do, there's probably hundreds of them on there now, are all available on our YouTube channel under the live tab. All right. So please do go and check them out. So are you bullish in the short term? I'm super, super bullish just on everything at the moment. But the same thing is I've got the levels, right? So I'm bullish here. Yeah. Do I want to be a buyer here? No, because I've been a buyer down here, because I've been a buyer here, right? What I really want to see at the moment is price come down, engage with some liquidity lower down, and then rip. If price decides that it doesn't want to do that, and it's very welcome to do that, then what I would look to do is start to build some intraday long positions around here, around the inside bar low, which is about 63,400. Lo and behold, another round number, right? Because by building intraday positions, I can be very, very frugal in taking profit on the lower time frames, but position myself that this price does decide to rip, which it can do, and it very much does so with Bitcoin, then, I'm not forcing myself to get in up here. The other thing I can do is go back to my higher time frame, and wait for price to establish itself above 65K. Why? Because if price does this, we have a big rip, price holds itself above 65K here, and we see this start to hold. We get ourselves into some positions here. Right? While this looks like a pretty pattern, it makes a lot of sense. Big, powerful move above the level. A dip back down below it to catch people offside. We get back above. We respect and hold this level. We purge liquidity from this low. We break the low, break the high, that took the low, and that's where I'll be a buyer. And why does that make sense to me? Quite simply because I've got a very, very clear and obvious point at which I'm wrong. I'm wrong if price comes back down below here because we've purged liquidity, we've established above a key level, and then we're ready to rip. So what does that mean? Fine, I lose 1R plus fees if I'm wrong here, but then it allows me to flip my bias. And then I'm pretty sure that price is heading down for these targets that we were talking about earlier. All right, so I hope that, sorry guys, excuse me, let me just take a quick sip of tea. So I hope that Sheikh Ahmed, I hope that answers your question on that. Very, very hard to know this in terms of predictions, right? Certainly not what I do here. I look to trade level to level. I'm super bullish at the moment, as Michael Zingerman in here is asking. But if we start to break down below key levels, I'll get intraday and short-term bearish down to key targets where I'll look to be a buyer. Okay. Something else I just wanted to cover on the show quickly before I just really want to just give you guys a little bit of insight into token 2049 is absorption. and wicks and looking at how price kind of reacts at key levels here. All right. So let me just get rid of this for a minute. And I think this area here is a really, really good one. Price comes into this level. We see this low after this huge expansion candle. Price comes into this level. Now look at how the wicks react here. Yeah. Michael, you're very welcome, brother. Whack, my man. Whack, absolute legend over at TBN, by the way, along with the rest of our community, but was able to give me some really amazing insights into Singapore that really helped finding these really cool street markets and that. And don't get me wrong, look, we were very, very blessed to meet some of the most amazing people out there who just put on the most incredible meals, everything, like just events, at some of the finest places you could ever dream of. But what I love about going to these places as well are finding, where the locals eat, where are these real hidden gems, where are these food markets, street stalls, and it was just incredible. Whack. Honestly, some of the best food you could ever ask for, from your shrimp wontons, local dishes, Korean beef. There's this amazing mix of food on there, and you could eat there all day, right? All day. Even at the Singapore airport, right? I had one of the best beef brisket broths that I've ever had, right? I'd normally be sitting in like Heathrow, normally, if I'm in Heathrow, I go Wagamama's, right? That's the best you can ask for, in my opinion, at Heathrow. Or you're eating some filthy, overpriced, English breakfast that's just rank, or you find yourself in a fast food restaurant. And with the amount of travel, network, and everything you're doing, you really need to watch that. Singapore airport blows some places away in London, to be honest, for that broth. But those markets you recommended, mate, they were next level. So thank you so much for that. So very quickly, absorption. Watch these key levels. Watch how price reacts. Does price really tell you it wants to go down here? What happens? Remember our analogy, yeah? Price is trying to force its way in here. Bang, it gets pushed back. Tries again. Bang, gets pushed back. This is your first clue. This doji candle that you're getting a change in the trend, yeah? So same with this one. Big expansion up, price comes down. Doji candles here tells you price is looking to go back the other way. What tells you that we might not make it here is this bearish engulfing off the back of this one as well. So when you look at that coming down, let's look at the two key indicators we could have that we were looking for a reaction here. Know your key levels, watch how price reacts. If you've got a big, strong close below this, yeah, so that's the body of the candle comes down with very little wick. It's telling you it's probably not quite getting bought up, yeah. All right, so as we go in here, yeah, Aussie grow me. I am, probably a little bit older than I seem, right? But yeah, still love Wagons in terms of just a fast food joint that's at least going to give you something that isn't horrendous fast food. Right? Of course, everybody loves a bit of fast food. It's a little bit of filth. It's a little bit of naughty, right? But it's not something you want to sustain yourself on while you're traveling. So we dip down below here. Absorption. Look at the wicks. So what's your first real clue? Well, there's two things here I'm ready to action. One is this bullish engulfing off the back of a nice bullish pin bar with a short nose. The pin bar is just a longer candle to the downside. For a bullish one, you want to see that body nice and big on the upside here, and the shortest nose possible, meaning the upside tail wick. Now, when we see this move here, you've then got a secondary move here that does two things that was just too obvious to ignore, right? One, as I spoke about earlier, is we saw an inversion gap here. So this was a bearish gap, which would be in red, rejection. Price then closes above it, meaning it then turns to an inversion gap. This we then look as a bullish sign. So we're looking to be a buyer from here. We mitigate the risk of those buyers by just simply targeting the next higher, yeah? Then you can mitigate your risk, you can move your stops up, etc., but keep your positions held for moves up to the next key liquidity point, which for me were these smooth highs, all right, and these equal highs here. Now, when we got this was also a bullish engulfing candle. So this thing told you it really wanted to rip, right? So go away to just any point on your chart, just random stop, boom, okay. Find a key low, especially if you've got an abnormal wick on that low, right? And then just do this. Draw a line across it here and just start to learn and watch how price reacts. This happens to also line up really lovely with Pitt's key level here as well, at 161,166. Come and learn from Pitt, right? Come and learn from me, but also from my incredible team, right? We are there to help guide you through these markets. It's what we do. Our mission statement is to just enable everyone with the education and tools necessary to pursue your own financial freedom. Do what you want with that and do what you will with it, but the resources are all there for you to do it. I'm somebody that did it. I pivoted from a business background, right? I came from absolutely nothing, came from, a very low middle class family in the UK, living in London. We really didn't have a lot. But I loved, my life when I was younger. We would go camping. We very rarely go abroad. We didn't really have the money for that. But, I changed my life through hard work and grind. And I did that with businesses. And then when I got obsessed and I got the bite and the hunger for trading, I was working 80 plus hours a week, right, in jobs and studying. And I just didn't have life outside of that. I made time for family and very close friends in very, very small allowances. But I just worked and worked and worked. I found a niche. I found what I wanted to do. I doubled down on everything. And my plan and my play is always this: I will never be the smartest person in that room. I know that. And it's not intelligence that got me to where I am today, right? It's hard work. It's graft. It's knowing to surround yourself with the best people. And in truth, it sounds cheesy, but it's having a good heart. All these people that I've met while I'm away, they're just none of them that none of these people we've made these connections with, none of these people that have helped change my life. And hopefully in some ways I've helped, at least put an impression on theirs, are all very good people. Be humble. Ignore all this noise of all these twats on Twitter and stuff like that, roaming off and doing all their, measuring their, I won't say it on the show, but egos, let's say, against one another, because none of that matters. They're probably all talking nonsense anyway. And the ones that aren't, you don't want to be around toxic people like that. Get yourself around professionals. But anyway, Pitt, I'm going to delete your line there for a minute, mate. Apologies. I want to focus on this, right? And then let's also not kid ourselves here. Let's say focus on this. Let's look at how price is engaging with these key levels, right? And whether you're drawing them support resistance levels, etc., because you'd be surprised, if you go over to here, for example, you can see once again that this low here plays a particularly key role. Support, support, support. What happens here? Support, deviation, price gets back above, retest, and then sells off, okay? But let's just use the red line that we've drawn anyway. But always try and find yourself some confluence. How is price reacting at this level? Well, this close below, I have to say to you, I'd be thinking on this close below, I want to see what the next candle does. This looks heavy to me. A lot of impulse in this. Now, when you see a collection of big-bodied candles up or down like this, then be cautious if you see a bullish candle in the opposite direction here. Because if the weight of sell pressure is too much, if this bullish candle takes you back above this level, I'm then saying, hang on a minute, I then want a catalyst to know where I then want to trade this. And even if you're waiting for here, again, broken record, I know, but look, we've got a key gap. We get a marginal close above this, but it doesn't matter. Closing above it violates it, it fills it, and it inverts it, okay? Meaning that this is an area we're now looking to long from. Price dips into this order block, up we go. What else is this candle? It's a bullish engulfing candle, right? Just don't make life more difficult for yourself than it needs to be. Then when price takes this breakdown here, right, and you're long in this move, I'd be long in this move. I'd have taken some profit on the way up, but ultimately didn't get to my initial target, which is up here. No problem. What happens? This here, my friends, is a liquidity purge. This is the market being shanked into the opposite direction down here to take out over-leveraged players that stepped in late. This then clears out liquidity below this low, below these lows, but look at the wick. Loads of people will be bearish off the back of this candle, and I do think that it's nuts, right? Because this wick here is showing you key absorption. So watch that absorption at key levels, right? Now, on the other side of it, when we get up to this area here, what are we doing? Well, we're in the realms of a big bearish gap here. So if you had the tip-tap trader dog just walked away into the room, checked out that there were no bonios on the chart, and she's off, all right? So a bit of dog banter there for you for someone that hasn't slept for about 3 days. Now, this high, what's telling you to long this? First of all, you're at resistance, so you shouldn't be longing anywhere near here either. You need to take the old pit traders mentality to this. Yeah, the people that used to sit there and scream in the pit. Don't effing buy when everybody else is buying. You are asking to step into a trap. Buy when there's effing blood in the water. Buy when there is blood. Okay, buying down here, because if you're wrong, your risk is here. You lose 1R. But if you're right, guess what? You 4-5x your position. What happens if you buy up here? Well, if you're wrong, then you're still 1R down, but the chances are you've got no more potential upside, no chance to reach in, no chance to secure profits, move your stops, right? Protect your capital. So anyway, ran over this. So absorption, right? No need to be longing this. Look at these upside wicks. This is showing you that the market's ready to push down. And when you know the key liquidity targets down here, right? So let's get rid of this for a second. Get rid of this because we're going to move this onto here, right? that long downside wick there was the start of a huge liquidity move to the upside. So imagine yourself saying the smartest players in the market have done this. Yeah. Now they know loads of people are stepping into this up here, and then price starts to break down. You go, okay, interesting. Well, quite simply, chances are, if it's really going to break down, liquidity it's looking for is down here. So if that's the case, you can do a couple of things here. Remember, like we were talking about earlier, wait for those inversions. Wait to see, what should be support turn to resistance. This was an untested bullish gap. Price just shot right through it. No respect for it at all. What then happened on the flip side of this gap is we then formed a big bearish gap, which is designed to push the market lower. So your play here would just quite simply be shorting from this gap, aiming for your key lower liquidity target, starting with here, ultimately then below here, pretty much a free rein down to here. So you can hold these with great conviction. Or you close back above this, you just want to see price establish itself above this level, because that's the level that's capping the market, right? That's what we're looking for. So, overlaying that on where we are now, we've quite clearly explained these are our high time frame downside targets. All right, this is where we want to see price come into. For me, this is very clean at the moment. We've had this nice big expansion. Want to see liquidity taken from some lows and then start ripping to some highs. All right, so that's where I am now. Something I want to just talk to you guys about very quickly was token 2049, and there's some very, very, very special people that I just want to give a big shout out to. There's too many of them to list, right? First of all, obviously, Crypto Bird, Edge Runner, my bro who was out there with me, head of business development for TBN, just an absolute legend. Crypto Tech, as you all know him, who is like a brother to me and just is the glue that holds us all together. He's chief operations officer here at TBN and is just such a hard-working legend. I can't even explain to you the memories that we created over there together. All right. But aside from that, and I'm not going to mention traders in this one, I did a big trader shout. I did speak about Follies, my boy Trader Dang, who's like a brother to me, obviously, as well about Ionic XBT, who came out to join us. Young lad, so freaking smart, so many followers. In my opinion, the future of our industry lie in the hands of this humble, lovely dude, right? So make sure you're checking those guys out if you haven't already, right? But just give me a minute here as we're coming into the end of the stream. For those of you, there's several thousand of you on this stream, and I just want to say something, and it seems contradictory because look, we do have a lot of exchange partners. We don't have a lot, actually. In my opinion, we have the very best exchange partners over at TBN. The reason for that is not because, look, ref links almost becomes like a dirty word these days, right? But it really, really shouldn't be. What happens is exchanges want you to trade with them. What we want is we want you to trade with the best exchange that suits you. Now, for me, the truth of this, and I had this amazing conversation with Richard Teng, CEO. I mean, not just Richard, but I mean, Jesus. I mean, Rachel Conlon, who I could not give a bigger shout out to, her and her team, and just everybody, like Deborah there as well, who took such good care of me. And we have some really funny storyline going on about that, by the way, on Twitter. So do go and check that out. These guys are the elite of the elite, in my opinion. Their minds, the conversations you have with them, their visions they have for the industry, the fact that Richard stepped in to seize these, in truth, a god, or at least a demigod in our industry, right? The cojones on this guy to step in and put to put his mark on this industry in the way that he has and talk in the humble, beautiful way that he did was just incredible to be part of. Rachel, who is just probably one of the brightest, and I love her to bits, just the most incredible Irish lady, just Irish, just intelligent, engaging. These are the kind of people you want to make sure that you've got an eye on. When these people tell you something, you sit down, you double down, and you listen incredibly hard. Okay. Now, Binance, we all know, they're the big players. They are the leaders in this industry, and they are excited, and they've got a lot of exciting things coming out. So just from the bottom of my heart to have been part of that, Richard, Rachel, Deborah, everybody else in that amazing team, thank you so much for everything you did. Put on an incredible event. We met some wonderful people, and I'm always so much more bullish on crypto when I get to meet people like you. I really want to give a huge shout out to Apex Dex as well. Tekla and Mariam especially, who are just two of the most beautiful human beings you could ever meet in every single respect of that word. Just the brightest minds, the kindest hearts and spirits. When you look at the people that are behind these projects, make sure you're finding people like this, right? Make sure you are finding people that are, that basically these people could be doing anything. This is what you don't realize. These people could be, CMOs, CTOs of major banks, of huge technology companies on the stock market. They're in this space because of their love of it. We all have a little bit of rebelness in this, right? And that's what we always want to harness, but we need the smartest possible approach to make this and solidify this for the future. So please do go and check those guys out over there. BitGet. I mean, just the whole management team of BitGet. They put on one of the best events that we had out there. I got to sit down with some of the loveliest people I could ever wish to meet. And I'm going to have some more coming out on that very, very soon. All right. These guys are working with us and working with me specifically because over at TBN, we want to match you with your perfect exchange, right? The reason for that is, as an intraday trader, people that come over and trade club with us, that's our little kind of intraday trading club that we have with inside TBN Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday every week. We get on for 3-4 hours in the afternoon and we trade cryptocurrency, we trade the NASDAQ. I show you the live trades that I'm taking with my live account, how I build my profitability, how I earn my living. And within that, we've got some people that have really changed their lives, right? People that have genuinely gone from working a 9-to-5 job who are now doing nothing else, as we have across the board at TBN. And BitGet are working with me because as an industry disruptor, they want to get people on. They want to kind of change the game in slightly different ways to some of the larger companies. So we want to get you on platforms where it makes sense to trade these low time frames, because if you don't understand risk exposure, if you don't understand risk management, if you don't understand position sizing, margins, then you can get yourself really hurt trading the low time frames. People think it's all banter and, oh yeah, trade the 1 minute chart, blah, blah, blah. If you don't know your fees, you can win trades and lose money, all right? But a very, very big shout out to the whole team over there, and a special mention as well for you who just took such unbelievable care of us. So thank you so much, guys. And just one last one. There's this legend out there called Rahul. Now, it's the first time I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and I know he's very, very close with CryptoBurb and Cryptotech and some of the other team, but he puts on crypto fight nights. This guy is just a powerhouse. I met him, so smart, just understands business on a level that I think would scare most people. And he is doing so much for this industry. He was very, very kind to get us VIP at Crypto Fight Nights. We were there with every legend you can possibly imagine who you would want to be there, all right? And it was just a wonderful evening. It was just one of the most professional things you could ask for. I'm a huge boxing fan. I love MMA as well. It was just something else. For me, it's, like I said, I've ground my way up from the bottom, as of so many other people in this industry. When you get to that level that you're getting to do things like that, I just, stay humble, just be thankful for everybody that you get to meet like that. And for me, it was a real blessing. So thank you so much, Rahul. And absolutely blessings to everybody I mentioned, and so many more. I will get some more out in a post. Like I say, it's been a long trip. I got in, I don't know how many hours ago, but not a lot, after traveling from Singapore. And the whole way I was basically up on the plane, making notes, looking at things that we discussed, just getting myself even more and more excited about this industry. So look, I'm going to close it off there, guys. We've been online now just for about an hour. I hope this has been good value for you. Please do go and check those companies out. Please do make sure that you're aligning yourself with the very best people in this industry, and do reach out. Yeah, reach out to us. Come and see us over at the Bird Nest. Reach out to people. Make groups of the best people you can, because if you surround yourself with the very best people, everybody has the opportunity to make it in this industry. I really do believe that. You've got to work hard, and you've got to work very, very smart. Okay, find your niche, double down, put every bit of yourself into it that you can. Surround yourself with the very best people, and never be the smartest person in the room, which for me is normally not a problem. All right, legends. Thank you all so much for being on with me today. I've really missed you all. Let's get back at it. We got 54. We are plus 54R at Trade Club from March until now. We're chasing down 100R by the end of the year. For me, that would be a super impressive achievement. And while I've been away, the team and the community have basically been managing these trades themselves and have been banging out some big winners. So I need to get back, need to get my head back in the game. Come along, come and trade with us. Come and trade alongside legends in the making, like Just Pit. Come and trade along assisting legends like Trading Tank, Crypto Burb, right? We've just got this beautiful team, fundamental analysts. We've got in-house psychologists like your NLP coach, my bro Jimmy, who, you know, will just help you align that mindset, get rid of that anxiety that you might be feeling, you know, so that you have the ability to take these trades. So many traders out there have the ability, but maybe not the right kind of mental landscape, because maybe you're playing with too much in terms of position size. If that is the case, we've got some really, really good ways that you can get around that as well. All right, guys, huge shout out. Nothing but love. Back with you all on Wednesday. Look, let's just effing crush it. Opportunity is there. Make sure that you're on the right side of it. Big love, fam.